Hi, I'm Paul.
All right. Today I want to talk about something that I've been I've struggled with, throughout my life, especially over the last 7 years. And what got this into my head was a friend of mine sent me this clip on Instagram that I'm going to show you, and then I will tell you how I feel about it, what I'm thinking, and then I want to get your feedback on it. So let's take a look at this, and then I'll talk about it on the other end.
I did not interview men for the first 4 years of my study. And it wasn't until a man looked at me one day after a book signing and said, "I love what you have to say about shame. I'm curious why you didn't mention men." And I said, "I don't study men." And he said, "That's convenient." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because you say to reach out, tell our story, be vulnerable. But you see those books you just signed for my wife and my 3 daughters?" I said, "Yeah. They'd rather me die on top of my white horse than watch me fall down." When we reach out and be vulnerable, we get the shit beat out of us. And don't tell me it's from the guys and the coaches and the dads. Because the women in my life are harder on me than anyone else. I didn't.
All right, so a friend of mine sent that to me, and I watched it, and I was like, you know, it's very true, and it's something I've thought about, and something that I've dealt with. It seems like, as a stereotypical man, and I'm talking in the United States because I can't speak to any other country, but we are expected to be strong and protective of the person we are with. But this comes from a source of evolution. In the past, perhaps this was a necessity of finding someone to protect you, and then you're the hunter, they're the gatherer, kind of thing, all that. But nowadays, this is not necessary. We're not out there trying to fight off lions or tigers or something for a partner. However, we still have that ingrained in us, like viscerally, to need that protection from somebody, and I understand that. What sucks is, I get in a relationship with someone, and they say, I'm looking for someone that's sensitive, in touch with their emotions, emotionally available, want to talk about mental health stuff, be be open to that kind of thing. But then when you get into that relationship, oftentimes a woman can see you as being weak or being too feminine or being not being able to protect them, and then they start to feel like you are, um, I don't know how to say it, like you're a little bitch. That's the best way I can put it. They start to feel like you're a bitch, and then you're like, uh, because you want to open up, you want to be real, you want to be yourself, and we should be able to do that. We should be able to be vulnerable and open up. And I don't see being open or vulnerable as a weakness. If anything, I think it is a strength. It is hard to put yourself out there. It's hard to speak about your real past, like of things you've maybe went through, things you've experienced, fears you have. No one, the woman or the man, or the man, the woman, whatever the situation, no one person can hold the brunt of the protection or of the safety. We both people, no matter what their sex is, both people need to feel safe, and they need to feel like the other person has their back. When we get into like where the man has to be the protector and has to be strong and has to, always be this, this, this. It puts us in a box to where we don't have the ability to be vulnerable. Because if we are, then we're looked down upon. So then what happens is people, well, men will hold it in, right? And I mean, other people besides men do this too, but will hold it in, hold it in, hold it in, and then you explode because you haven't been releasing it a little bit at a time, like you haven't been talking about it. You've been someone you're not. You're being fake. And with this, it's like, well, and not just that, not just verbally abusive, like oftentimes it gets physically abusive, and it's horrible. And then it's like that whole toxic masculinity thing where men feel like, no, they got to be this way, and society makes it seem like this is what women want and this is what we're supposed to be. And then we try to step outside of that and be legit and be genuine, and then they can't, our partner can't accept that. And then, so it's like, well, what do you want? Because you say you want, someone that's open, emotionally available, talking about, you know, things that they're going through. And then when they do, you see them as weak. And there's a conflict there. It's either that the woman really does want those things. However, evolutionarily, is that a word? Evolutionarily? It is now. Evolutionarily, that sounds weird. I don't think that's a word. Anyways, through evolution, they have developed a sense of need to seek out safety from, the man, right? And if this is the case, then that could be residually hardwired into women to feel like, they need that. And then when they're not getting that need met, they are going to seek it out somewhere else. But societally, I think that is a word. We don't need that anymore. Women are badass and they can protect themselves and they can do everything we can do. And so there's not that need for us to be like um this toxic version of a fictitious man. So I would like to know your thoughts on this, like what's up? Is it that they really do want these things, but they well, let me be more specific. Is it and that's the thing is like it's not all women, of course, and it's not all men, it's not all anything, but in this particular scenario, when a man and woman are together, or whatever kind of dynamic there, when a woman says that that's what they're looking for someone who is emotionally available, open, honest, um, talks about what they're struggling with mentally and willing to do therapy and all that stuff. When they say they want that, is that something that you think they really do want mentally, right? Cerebrally, but then viscerally, like the response and the desire is there still from an evolutionary standpoint to need that protection. Is that the case? Or is it the case that they say they want that, and then when they get that, they realize that's not what they wanted? But oftentimes with that, they move on to some form of toxic, like man, kind of thing, and then they regret it, and then they get back a hold of you because, they realized that's not what they wanted. The whole grass is always greener on the other side thing. And, maybe the grass is greener on the other side because it's full of shit. And that makes good fertilizer, but it uh, doesn't make a good yard to frolic in. So I think it's better to be open, be yourself, be genuine, talk about your emotions, talk about your feelings, and I want to be accepted for that. I want to be loved by somebody who is welcoming to me, yeah, welcoming, with all my flaws, all my um, feelings and emotions, and be strong enough themselves to be able to allow space for both people to talk about those kind of things. But I don't know. Are we in a place, society wise or evolutionarily wise, like where that can be the case? I'm sure there's relationships out there where the the woman is okay with the man being open and talking about emotions and being like that, and I've just not been around that. But I don't like the whole toxic masculinity thing. I don't like it when we feel like we're forced to hide how we feel. And then that creates a lot of anxiety in us, a lot of depression, a lot of anger, resentment, you know, um, and then things blow up, and that's not good. So just like other mental health issues, that I just want to crush stigmas in 2024, like, come on, we need to evolve more. We, our technology, our societies have evolved way faster than we have physically and, on a fundamental level. And that really fucks us up. I mean, that's why we have so many panic attacks and anxiety and depression going on. We have not evolved to be taking in millions of people's information every day. We've not evolved to have, 5,000 friends on Facebook. We haven't evolved to do 90% of our communication this way, through a lens of me trying to look at myself and then look at this lens up here so you see me looking at you. But if I'm looking at the lens, you think I'm looking at you, but I'm not looking at you. Like I'm like when we're on Zoom. So we need to evolve more in many ways, but we can't like force evolve our hardwiring, right? We can through, um, therapy and through practice and through um, rewiring, literally rewiring of our brains on an individual basis, we can do that through neuroplasticity. But on a societal level, we need to come together and be like, it's okay for men to open up and talk about their feelings and emotions and be vulnerable and not be looked at like a little bitch. You know, we need to be able for both people, or if you're in a throuple, all three people, need to be able to be vulnerable and open and honest and that be okay. And it needs to be okay to talk about your mental health struggles and not be looked down upon. It needs to be okay to talk about your addiction and not be looked down upon. We need to be there for one another no matter what, and no matter what we're going through. And that would help us all. But the video really got me thinking, like, it sucks. And I've been in many relationships like that where, they keep wanting, you to open up, and you do, and you grow, and as you do, they they don't respect you as much. And that sucks. So, what are your thoughts on this situation? What are your thoughts about men being vulnerable? Is it a weakness? Is it something we shouldn't do? Like, is it a balance that needs to be made to where we only tell our significant others certain things and we don't open up to them fully, but we talk to our therapist about it and our friends about it. You know, um, I don't think that's the case. I think that we should be able to be forthcoming fully with our partner and both of you know everything about each other and accept that, like that's what love is all about, is accepting the other person fully, flaws and all. But I don't know, this subject, it really fucks me up, and it's my whole life I've felt like I've had to be something I wasn't, and I've had to fake, put on a mask of like this or that to be accepted in certain situations. And that sucks. I just want to, like shake it up. I just want to be myself. I just want to talk my shit. I just want to be real. And I want other people to be real. And I just want to be like, okay, if I say I'm going to do this, I do it. And that's just how I am. And I want other people to be like that. I want other people to talk to me like without holding back, and I want them to feel like they can tell me things and that it's not going to make me care about them less or it's not going to make me hate them. We need to be able to have conversations about everything. You know, the this goes out to Thomas Scoble right here. The opposite of addiction is connection. And I feel that way about anxiety. The opposite of anxiety is connection. The opposite of depression is connection. You know, connection is so important and it's something that's lacking so much. And we cannot have good communication if we do not have good connection. And we can have good connection without acceptance. So, what are your thoughts? Let me know. And yeah, until next time, be yourself, no matter the consequences.